I'm Gary Robertson. I'm the administrator now at the Veterans Center here in Ardmore. I'd like to welcome you today to your Veterans Center. We're really glad that each and every one of you could come be with us today to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of this facility serving veterans. It's so good to see so many representatives from our service organizations and our civic organizations here with us today. Y'all are such a big part of this center. We couldn't do it without you. All the volunteers that come out and put on bingos and cook hamburgers or just come out and sit and visit with our veterans or play dominoes with them. We're just so glad that all of y'all are here today with us. Events like this one today can't be accomplished without an enormous effort from a lot of folks. And I'd like to thank a few people real quick for making today possible. Noble Energy, Dollar General, and American Iron Riders, they combined to purchase 170 t-shirts for our residents, and I wanted to thank them for that. The Oklahoma National Guard 145th Band, and also the National Guard and Reserves, our neighbors next door, the Reserves, they brought some static displays of equipment that we'd like for all of you to go look at when the program's over. Also, they come down here last night and brought their Civil War cannon and set up their tent, and we're glad to have the Sons of the Confederacy with us today. I think I'm hot, but I'm sure them are wool that they got on back there. I want to thank the Chickasaw Nation Honor Guard for posting our colors. They did an excellent job. And the Patriot Guard, the Patriot Guard does the ride through and they do the flag line at each of our Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies. I want to thank them, as many as could get here today, for doing the flag line for us. Thank you, folks. And thank y'all for what y'all do. We appreciate it. I wanted to thank one of our retired employees, Rick Wallace. Rick is kind of the OVC historian around here, and he's providing a lot of the pictures today, and later when I give my talk, a lot of the information that I'm talking from is things that he's looked up in the archives. Thank you, Rick. And I definitely want to thank Angela again for her rendition of the national anthem. Thank you, Angela. Next, I'd like to read just a little section out of the fourth biannual report of the Board of Trustees. And remember, this was wrote in 1918. And I don't know if anybody could write more elegant than these guys did. But remember, this was wrote in 1918. This board desires to express in this public manner its appreciation of the aged men and women who are the beneficiaries of the bounty of this home, which the great state of Oklahoma has provided for their declining years. These old veterans have lived during the most remarkable era of the world. Their lives have fallen across a period unexcelled in the history of time for great developments, along civil, religious, educational, inventive, political, commercial, and military lines. They have also lived through 4 wars in which this country has been involved: the Mexican, Civil, Spanish-American, and the Great World War. They represent the lost cause of the Civil War, which fortunately left us a great reunited country, the ties of which have been knit more closely together with the passing of time and the combined efforts of the fighting strengths of both the North and the South in the Spanish-American and the World War, which has just ended. To be privileged to live to see the cause for which they fought and lost rise from the obscurity to which it was supposed to be doomed and prove a blessing to a great undivided country is a happy dispensation of providence which but few veterans of the worlds of the war have had visited upon them. But to the men of the Old South was granted the distinction of being victorious losers. Like victory over death, the lost cause to which they gave their young manhood's devotion has triumphed over its own defeat in the glory of the successes of the United States in both of the last wars. The men and women of the Confederate home of Oklahoma have given their sons and grandsons in the last two wars to fight under the flag against which they were once arrayed. And they have lived to see it floating high on the breezes as an emblem of liberty for the entire world. And today, together with their children and grandchildren, these old people look upon this flag with pride and affection. Had their strength been equal to the task, the old veterans in this home would have been glad to have shouldered their guns again and have gone out with the young generation of the combined North and South to fight for humanity and worldwide liberty. At best, they have it a few years before them. Their frail bodies could not back up their unfaltering courage. And to them was not given the privilege of serving in actual battle in defense of the flag, nor the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In a few short years, these aged people who are now the beloved wards of this generous state will have passed into the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns. But before their feet shall touch the shores of that happy land, this board hopes that the honored legislature of a state so rich in natural resources will continue to make certain that their pathway to the end shall be made smooth and easy to travel for this expiring band of patriots. I don't know how people wrote that eloquently like they did back then, but you know, like I started at the first, I told you I entitled my talk, the more things change, the more they stay the same. In that report back in 1918, they were trying to get their appropriations from the legislature increased. Now here we are 100 years later, and every year we're doing the same thing.